Hello. Ramana sir, how to write? Hello, ma'am. My voice is audible for you. Just unmute your. Just unmute now. Unmute yourself.
Now it is fine.
Yeah. Now it is okay.
Yeah, okay. So my voice is audible, right?
Yes. Your voice is now audible.
My voice is clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So shall we start the session?
Yeah. Good morning, one
Okay,
and
you just
all.
start the session.
And all. Today our topic is how to write a paper. Uh, Dr. Manju Kari, resource person, explained about how to write a paper, everything, and plagiarism checking also. Thank you. Let's start, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prasad, and
Okay.
good morning all. And thank you for the organizer to including me to this session. I think Prasad, all participants are not mute.
Yeah, now they are coming.
Okay, they are coming. So
Yes.
shall we wait for 1 to 2 minutes or what?
No. We can start. They can jump.
All right. So I can let me share my screen first. Just a second. My screen is clear.
Now it is clear.
It is clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
So our today's session topic is how to write a research paper. So what exactly the research is? The research is basically creating an systematic work undertaking to increase the knowledge, include knowledge of human culture and society, and the use of the knowledge in a device of new application. So, what exactly the research is? In research, what exactly we have to take care of it to enhance the knowledge and extract the knowledge from the other resources and then enhance that knowledge and come up with the output of research. So in research, basically, we have to explore a lot many resources, and then we come up with some good topic. And after a research, it is mandate that we should go for a research paper. A research paper is just like an essay in which you explain what you have learned after exploring your topic in depth. In research paper, you include information from sources such as books, articles, interview, and internet sites. You also use your own idea and knowledge and opinion. In research paper, it is basically a cumulative and a final product of an involved process of research. It is basically a research paper is actually a reflection of critical thinking, a source of evaluation, or composition. Basically, research is extracted from two kind of sources, like we have primary sources and the secondary sources, and both the sources are basically used for us while writing a different kind of research papers. So how many types of research papers we have? Actually, we have 8 different kind of research papers. One is analytical research paper, argumentative research paper, then definition papers, compare and contrast papers, cause and effect paper, interpretive papers, experimental research papers, and survey research papers. What is we have to include in this different kind of research paper? These different kind of research paper are important to know about it because we have to write a paper according to their focused kind of thing. Like if we are working on analytical research paper, in analytical research paper we have to pose a questions and then collect the relevant data from other researchers to analyze their different viewpoints. You focus on the findings and conclusions of other researchers and then make a personal conclusion about the topic. It is important to stay neutral and not to show your negative or positive points on the matter. In that kind of research papers is to be the analytical research paper. If the research paper are argumentative, at that time we have to focus on two side of, or we have to focus on the controversial issues, like it is aimed to getting the reader on the side of your point of view. You should include the side findings, the arguments of different researchers from the both sides of the issues, favor, or if the researcher or a reader are not in a favor of that particular topic. Your argument should not be emotional. You still need to support with the logical facts and the statistical data. They are to be considered as argumentative research papers. While working on the definition papers, the definitions are solely describe the fact or the objective argument without using any personal emotion or the opinion of the author. It also purpose is to provide the information, because usually definition means we are defining something, and definition papers are basically focused on the information only. They include the facts from the variety of sources, and those facts which are unanalyzed, they are actually included in the definition papers. And the fourth type of paper is compare and contrast papers. In the compare and contrast paper are used to analyze the difference between the two or more than two viewpoints of the authors, subjects, or any relevant topic in which the two different authors are working. We are going to compare the studies of those authors, and then we can suggest a new approach to that particular domain. Make sure to the sufficiently describe both the side of the papers and compare them, and we have to acknowledge all the supportive documents of comparing the studies. Then we have cause and effect papers. Cause and effects papers are usually the first type of research papers, like which we usually motivate the initial, I like first year or second year students to work on the cause and effect papers, so that they can at least find out what and why is the cause of this particular reason, and then they can extract the results and they can focus on the result and then represent the result in a writing form. They are cause and effect papers. Then we have interpretive papers. Interpretive papers are required you to use the knowledge that you have gained from a particular case study. For example, a legal situation or in a law study, or if we have, because we all are from different domains, so we have a different kind of studies. So interpretive means we study a particular case study and then we can extract some information or extract some loophole from that particular paper, and then we can enhance that paper in a theoretical framework form, or we can give some statement and conclusion for that case study which we studied in the past. Then we have experimental research papers. Experimental research papers are basically describe a particular experiment in detail. It is common in the field like biology, chemistry, and physics, or in other domain also, because they are corely depend on experiments. Experiments are to aim and explain the certain outcomes or the phenomena of a certain action. You need to describe that experiment and the supportive data that analyze it sufficiently, or if there is some experimental result are effective or efficient one, then we have to prove on the basis of the experimental results. Then majorly we have survey and research, survey, review, systematic review kind of research paper. These kind of research papers are basically conducted on the base of survey or on the base of literature. These are basically include the questions and the response of those questions. This is basically used to study the past literature and shape up in a systematic way or in an analyzed way to present a paper. Usually, we have these eight kind of research papers, but it depends on the domain to domain, because in each and every field, we majorly focus on analytical and argumentative research paper and compare causes. They are merged up in these kind of research papers. So. We have these kind of research papers and we have to work on different kind of research paper according to our requirement. where we're gonna focus on it. So before we start writing for a research paper, we have to focus on these few points, because while writing a research paper, we all have to focus on uh, early stage, like what we have to start it early, because if we are not working on the research paper, then if we are not working on research, then what is the point of writing a research paper? And while before writing a research paper, we have to select the topic. And if we are not going to select the topic, then how we are going to read that particular topic in a depth? So we have to focus on these 7 points. By mistake, I think the 7 point is missing, that is the plagiarism. Because after selecting a topic, we have to go for a background study of that particular topic. Background study means a literature part of that study, what is there in the literature of that particular topic. So we have to analyze, or we have to study the background of a complete background of that particular study. And how we can do that? We can go for Google Scholar or any other database resources. We can extract the detail, or whatever is going on in the past research. We have to extract that detail, and then we can read and analyze that part. Then we have to prepare some outline, like what we have to focus on, what are the challenges are there available in this particular domain. We have to jot down them, we have to outline them, that these are the maximum challenges are available. Now we have to focus on these particular topics. Then after preparing some outline, we have to write, like preparing an outline in a mind, not or a raw draft, we can say. We can draft those outlines in a paper, and then we have to search of bibliography. Bibliography means the references which we have studied, like thesis, the documents, the reports, the research articles. We have to prepare a list of those papers, and then we have to proofread the raw draft of the paper which we have write according to the outline. And the major focus is that plagiarism. We have to take care of plagiarism while before writing a research paper, because if we read a background study, we just copy that content and save it somewhere. But that exactly we don't have to do, because what exactly we have to do is we have to read the content, and we have to write that content in our own views accordingly. So while starting searching for research, we have to be focused about what exactly we have to do, what in which domain we are comfortable. If we are comfortable in that particular domain, we have to focus on that domain only. And for preparing an outline, we have to take care of, like, what is the introduction of the paper, what is the body of the paper, what is the conclusion of the paper. Is just outline means just sections, like introduction, then methods, then what exactly we have to write, and at the end we have to write a conclusion. So this is just an outline part. And raw draft means we have to make it some points, like introduction, what exactly we have to cover, or in the conclusion part, what exactly we have to mention, like additional sub points while drafting. And then proofreading and the plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically an unethical practice of using the words or ideas which are actually the other author have used. We don't have to copy the same content. And if we are copying the content, actually copying the content is the wrong word. If we are taking some ideas from the other authors, then we should acknowledge them. And whatever we understand of the statement of the other researchers, we have to convert it in our own views, and then we can write it in our work or in research paper. Plus we have to acknowledge them also. So it is currently a major problem, like it is we have to take care of the plagiarism. While writing a research paper, we have to be focused on some techniques, like we have to prepare the complete work. As far as games are concerned, we have to take care of something, and as far as researchers are concerned, we have to take care of these points. Because we are more focused about the researchers, so we have to take care of whatever we are studying. We have to prepare it according to the results. If the results are not there, then the manuscript is just like a survey or a study paper. So if whatever we are studying, whatever we are doing, whatever we are experimenting, the result should be there, because for each and everything we have to prove it. We have to prove it statistically or we have to prove it experimentally. That depends on the domain to domain. Plus, communication skill is basically required. While the communication I mean is from the writing skill. Writing skill, because writing a manuscript is something different, and writing a newspaper article is something different. In manuscript we have to focus on lot many things, like we have to introduce it, we have to show the problems, we have to show the challenges, we have to show the literature, and also we have to show the experimental issues and the conclusion also. Then we whatever we are writing, that should be published in a good journal. For that we are aware about the submission processes. We should have knowledge about the publishing literatures with, like if we are focusing on Springer, if we are focusing on IEEE or elsewhere, we have to know the procedure, we have to know the submission process of each and every publisher. And if we are focusing on IEEE, then we have to focus on what exactly they are looking for. Like nowadays maximum publishers are looking for the COVID related papers, because this is a current topic which is going on. So if all they have they I mean if they are related to physics, if they are related to chemistry, or if they are related to medical, or if they are related to computer science, they are either this way or that way, they are relating everything. Or if they are analyzing according to the COVID issues, then the publication record is more important, because each and every publisher have their own record, publishing record. The publishing records, from this term is that how much paper they are publishing in a year. Because it depends. If you are applying for if you're trying for a good journal, then you should know about it, that that particular journal is how many paper they are publishing in a year, how many paper they are selecting in a year, how many paper they are rejecting in a year, so that supports you while publications. Then why publish? I mean, if you have some content, if you have some idea, if you have some topic or domain, it is important, because all it is benefited for the researchers, for upcoming researchers. And it is better to get it published, because if it is published, then it is included in the whole world, and the people come to know about your field and your nature and your experimental style. So whatever we read, whatever we extract the knowledge from the other resources, that we have to create a draft, and we surely go for publications. Because after publication, at least we come to know that we are going in a right way or not, we are following the right procedure or not, because publication always benefited you. And how it has benefited you? To exchange the idea globally, and to be a part of network with the scientific community. And publication also help you for research funding. If your publication is good, if your publication is going in a right direction, if your publication having a good strength, then it gives you the research funding also. Then it is beneficial for the advancement in the career also. And also it become effective for science communicators. Without publication, I mean, if you're studying and studying, it doesn't matter. If you're not publishing your content, then it is almost dead, because that is just a knowledge which you are gaining. But what you're giving to the academic which you're giving to the scientific society is nothing. So we have to publish our work. Before publishing, we have to take care, we have to take care of the submission process, that we already just few sentences we discussed about the submission process. For going before I mean For the submission process, we have to take care of a lot many things, like you have point, you have domain, you have topic, and you have idea, and you have the results. But before that, you must be aware about the submission process. If you have a manuscript, for that particular manuscript you have to prepare a cover letter. What exactly cover letter is? Actually, cover letter reflects your work. It actually gives a small idea about your work. So we have to address it to the editor, and we have to prepare a small abstract of hardly 200 words. Before, we have to introduce ourselves, that we are the authors of this particular manuscript, and what exactly we are going to focus on the manuscript, and then what is the corresponding author and the detail of the corresponding authors. That is actually mentioned in the cover letter. So after preparing a manuscript plus with the cover letter, we send it to the journal. And the main criteria of the journal is it directly goes to the editor. Now everything is in editor's hand. What exactly the editor do? The editor basically first read your cover letter. If it inspired the editor, with the help of cover letter, editor comes to know that this particular domain is related to my journal or not. If that journal is not related, I mean, if the idea is not related to that journal, then straight away the editor will reject the submission within a week, or within 10 days they can do that. Or if your idea, your concept, your focus is related to that particular journal, then what editor will do? The editor is go it's sent to the peer reviews, and after getting the responses from the peer reviews, it can again send to the author for the revision or for the further enhancements. Then next is, if a result is really novel and it is related to the current trend, then the editor will accept the publication or it can reject the publication. This is the process which is used at the time of submission process. While submitting the manuscript, after submission of the manuscript, we have to be aware about some things, like few points we have to consider. Very few manuscripts are accepted without any form of revision. It is hardly, there is a 2 to 5% chances that the manuscript is straight away accepted without any revision. Then second or third reviewers are common. Sometimes it happens. The rejection and the revisions are integral to the peer review process, and the peer review is a positive process, because after peer reviewing only, then we come to know that the paper is going for major revision, going for acceptance, going for rejection, or it needs changes. It is to the current research trends or topics or not. Before you start writing, we should be aware about, we should be focused on, like, read means we have to read as much as we can. We have to be aware about the hot topics which are going on currently, in your specific domains. If you have topic, if you have a knowledge about that particular topic, then what do the journal editor wants from the author, that you must aware about it, because each and every journal have mentioned their aim and scope. So we have to look at that aim and scope very very consciously, because editors are very focused about their aim and scope. If the paper doesn't pretend to be the aim and scope, then they straight away reject it. So we have to select the appropriate journal properly, and we also have to take care of ethical issues like plagiarism issues. So while reading, right, reading actually is basically improve your writing skills, because while writing a research paper, we have to focus on reading. If we read, then it helps us you to discover new things by enabling you or educating yourself in your domain, in your interested domain, and and it also enhance your knowledge and thinking, or knowledge and research and thinking also. It also help you to develop a mind and imagination, and also creative side of the person. Usually reading is, it also help you to improve your vocabulary, your spelling, your communication, your writing skills, and your speaking skills. It also helps you to build a good self-image of, which actually, it helps you to focus on the particular domain. Like, if you're for example, if you're working on image processing, then what kind of things you have to focus on? If you have to focus on the major challenges, and then you have to create your own algorithm. Like, lot of algorithms are the working. There are plenty of algorithms which are applied on image processing. So what exactly you're going to follow, what you're going to implement it, or how you make them changes in that particular algorithm, how you make your own algorithm. That happens only because of reading. Because if you read a lot, if you read or you have a knowledge about that particular area, then only you can think about it, that what new change I can make, how I make this as a novel work. And it also help you to touch within today's society. We have to take care of how, reading helps you how to do, what to do, how to structure or shape up a style of a writing, how we extract the quality journals, what is the structure of the journal they are focusing on. Editor, what exactly the editor want to you to write, how we get the new ideas, what is there and what is not there. We can analyze with the help of reading. Reading help you writing from the boards, because as far as biologically is concerned, our both side of mind is working in a different way. Our brain is focused for logical reading, for normal reading, for creative thinking and writing. So similarly, reading and writing both are connected. So we have to read more so that we can get to know more. And if we get to know more, then we will be a very good writer. Because if you are a good reader, then only you can write some new and novel thing. You get not many words, your vocabulary will increase. You know the different way of style the people are using. You know the form of writing, and importantly, it explores us to write in a better way and help us to improve in a logical and creative kind of writing. So make a time to read more, because if you are not reading, then definitely we are not going to write anything. So at least give 20 to 30 minutes every day, or 60 minutes once in a week. Then whatever you read, then discuss with your colleagues, and also discuss with your colleagues and also explore more about that particular topic which you are reading. Like if nowadays we are more focused about the COVID kind of things. So we have a knowledge about COVID through newspapers, through articles, through lot many research papers are coming on this analysis of COVID. And we have a plenty of data set available on the GitHubs for this COVID. So if we are not aware about all these things, then how can we write about COVID? How can we analyze that particular things? If you want to involve in a law, I mean, if like you'll get the analysis result in news articles, or in news channels. How we get those analysis result? That analysis result is only come out after a depth study of that particular topic, and a critical study or an analytical study. And then if we have some data, then we can apply some learning techniques on it, and then we can extract some results from there. That is the statistical result. You usually in news channels they show a graph. That graph is the analytical result, statistical results, you can say. They extract the data, and then with the help of statistical tool, after reading, after searching, after exploring, they come to know about those results. So reading scientific literature is a critical part of conveying of the executing a successful advanced science projects. Then how to read the scientific research papers? It helps you. Scientific research paper, we can extract it from the lot many sources, and research articles from the Google Scholar, from different kind of scientific websites, and we'll get scientific papers from there. So if you know that what kind of research you're going to do first. Before that, I mean, you have to decide which topic is going on. You have to search out which topic you're going to go. So we have to look for clues, how we can start about that particular topic. That particular topic which we are opting is controversial or not. Then we have to find out the findings of that particular topic. Then we have to find out about the editorial board, I mean, which journals are focusing on this particular topic. So we have to select a topic accordingly before going into the research. The extracting a topic is a major task, and for extracting the topic, we have to go for literature search. Literature search is done easily with the help of Google Scholar, with the help of Science Direct, with the help of PubMed, then IEEE Explorer, uh, National Agricultural Library, Educational Resource Information Center, and then also we can expand our reading from the newspapers, from the other resources. These are the few academic search engines which are actually available or in open source environment. Like we have Google Scholar, as we all know about Google Scholar. It works for each and every domain. It helps to extract the files also. Science Direct, this also work in all the disciplines, all the domains. We can get plenty of research on Science Direct. And PubMed is basically academic search engine which work only for life sciences domain. Then we have IEEE Explorer. IEEE Explorer is basically focused on electronics, electrical, and computer science. In fact, IEEE Explorer have other resources also, but majorly we are focusing on these these domains. Then we have academic search engine for National Agriculture Library, and this National Agriculture Library is free for academicians, and we can search about the agriculture discipline on this particular website. Then we have education resources information center, and this education resource information center provides the free sources only for the education domain. Then we have some database also for searching or extracting or enhancing our literature. The database for scientific research paper and for data set, we have NASA scientific and technical information, which actually work on aerospace discipline. Then we have SOA and NASA astrophysics data system. We get astronomy and physics content over there. In fact, we can get the data set also there. Experimental data set is freely available. Then we have ARXIV, and this is basically work on physics, mathematics, computer sciences, qualitative biology, finance, and statistics. It provides data sets and database of we have to go on the websites, and we can search for a database according to our domain. Then we have SiteSip, and this is basically for the computer science discipline. Then we have public library for science, and this public library of science is basically focused on the life sciences discipline. Then we have high WirePress, and these all databases are free, and they can provide you a data set also, because these data sets are useful for us while searching a good and best topic, which is actually currently going on. And then I mean, before writing a paper, we have to be clear about the domain, clear about not many strategies, which topic is easily going to be published. For searching a good topic, we have to, I mean, we can extract the topic from these sources also, like we have to talk to the other scientists which are actually working on your domain. Then we have local civil society meetings, or national conferences, international conferences. These are the places where we can get the latest result and the presenting. This is basically considered as networking. We have to go for networking. We enhance our networking so that we come to know about that what are the latest topic is actually going on in our domain. Then we have to ask ourselves, like, editor must be creative and they have a broad knowledge of that particular topic. So editor must be regular to come up with the interesting and novel ideas. So if we send our work into the particular journal, then what exactly editor is looking for? So the main task is to make sure that the material, whatever article we are preparing, that should be with the style of publication, that should be error free, that should be plagiarism free, and it is the responsibility of every editor to maintain and develop their journal profile for, their reputation. So editor is also has a final responsibility of the content to ensure that it can meet the aim and scope of the journal and reflect changes in the field by presenting the new and emerging research. So while sending a work to the journal, at that time we have to take care of it, that the whatever work we are sending, that should be of high quality, that should be well designed or well executed, that should be novel. If it is not novel, then editor is not going to attract towards your article. It should be interesting, and it should be clear and concise. So while selecting a journal, we have to make a list of journals which are available in the market according to your domain. So what we have to do is we have to list out all the journals. Like, are you going on the? I mean, you're going for indexing, or you're going for the quality of journal. Whatever that you have to decide it. Some factors we have to consider while selection of a journal that is appropriate for your message, like your whatever you are writing in your cover letter. It it, it is appropriate with your focused area. Then we have to take care of publishing frequency. If we are focusing on that particular journal, the information about the peer reviews for the scientific journal, it includes the structure of the reviewers, objectively, and the timeline. It means whether they are responding to their authors on the time in a timeline manner or not, whether they have a variety of sources or not, actual values or estimation. We have to take care while searching a journal that what is the exactly rejection rate. If the rejection rate of a particular journal is high, then we usually also scared about to send a paper. But it hardly makes a difference. If your work is quality work, then it is going to be published easily. We have to take care before selection of the journal. We have to take care about the impact factor also. The quantitative measures such as the impact factor, like journal ranking, the articles are influenced or not of that particular journal. What is the high index of that journal? That impacts the journal image. They are surely linked with the citation rate of the article published in the journal. However, these values are and the absolute number of citation can it depends on the databases to databases. So then while before selection of a journal, we also have to take care of the targeted audience, whether they are targeting to the what kind of authors are associated with that particular journal. And while selecting a journal, we have to focus about the aim and scope. The subject area is covered by the type of article published should be related to that particular journal. There will be a contribute towards the addressing and suitable target of the audience. Further, you should go through the editorial policies and the practice of the journal. They should help every journal have their own different kind of aim and scope. Not exactly different, but they have their aim and scope. So before selecting a journal, we have to be focused about that the aim and scope of that particular journal is related to our paper or not. Then we have to take care of open access journals or not, because each and every journal having their different kind of style of taking a process. Open access journals are the content which are available for all, but if the journal is not open, then articles are not easily accessible. So if you want your research should be accessible by all, then you should go for an open access journal. Otherwise, the other subscriber journals. Then cost is also matter, because in nowadays what is happening is that the few journals are charging the cost for the fast publication. Like if we go for IEEE Access, then Access is a very good journal. It is in a list of transaction level, but they are charging a very huge amount for their fast process. Although their process is also fast and their impact factor is also 4 point something, but still they're charging something. So to being an author, we have to consider all these factors before going for the publication. Then publication type is also matter. Publication type means you're going to publish your journal in indexing. Which kind of indexing? Before publication, we have to take care of some ethics also. Academic research involve many coordination steps and process, like appropriate study design, study execution, data collection, data analysis, and finally the publication. While going through these steps cumulative in the publication can be actually an experience. One should have aware about the ethical code and the conduct that is bind with the research and every strategy. Actually, we have to take care of the publication ethics, because if we are not aware about the publication ethics, then it actually harm us in either this way or that way. Not this time, but after a year it can affect us, because Committee of Publication Ethics is an international forum for editors and publishers of peer-reviewed journals, and that provide a code of conduct and the best practice guideline that define the publication ethics and advise the editor how to handle the case of research and the publication misconduct. Publication ethics basically includes the statutory and the ethic approvals, informed consent, data manipulation, and research frauds, plagiarism. And it also includes the multiple submissions, duplicate publications, self-citations, consent of to reduce the publication material, then ethics of authorships, and the conflict of interest also. What exactly we don't have to do while considering about the publication ethics is we don't try to go for multiple submission. What exactly the multiple submission is? Submitting a manuscript to the multiple or scientific journals at the same time is termed as multiple submission. At the time of manuscript submission, most of the journal obtain a declaration from the authors that the manuscript is original and it is not being considered for publication by other scientific journals. So, at the time of submission, we have to declare that, declaring as such that we are not submitted this particular article in other journal, and that is better for the authors. So author have to take care of it, that he or she cannot be published his content, because author are in a myth. They were like, if we submit the same article in two journals with a minor change of the abstract and title, we can through the process. But actually that is wrong, because all the databases of journals are connected either this way or that way. They are connected to each other, and they have a very strong database. If you submit your article and if it gives a plagiarism result, highly plagiarized content, then your image is spoiled. You are blacklisted for that particular journal for a long time. So publication of a same manuscript in two different journals is not a proper way of submitting the manuscript. Then author have to submit only one journal and then wait for the decision of that particular journal before submitting the manuscript into the other journal. Submitting or presenting a paper in a scientific conference is does not it does not mean that author from submitting a same paper for publication for the peer review journals. So this is actually harms us. This is against the ethics of publications. Then we have plagiarism is the major issue, which we all are aware about it, but we are not more attentive for that. The use of previously published work by the author is one own manuscript without consent and consent or credit and acknowledgement. Yeah. So we are on plagiarism, and without crediting or acknowledgement, and is actually basically a big fraud. And passing it to the one the own work is referred to as a plagiarism. This is the most common form of scientific misconduct in the manuscript while writing. Plagiarism can be depending on the extent of the current reproduced, like clear. These are two different kind of plagiarism, like clear plagiarism, which is defined by COPE, COPE, and unattributed use of the large portion of text or data present as if they were by the plagiarist. Or the second is minor copying of the short phases only. Short phases means phases in discussion of the research paper without any misattribute of data. Clear plagiarism should be literally copying word for word, copying a large part of the previous manuscript and copying that data and adding into our work and reproducing a major part of the previous paper such as text, table, and figure, or we can paraphrase it. That is also concept of plagiarism. Copying an idea from the previous paper without copying the text. That is also plagiarism. Then we can term this one more thing which we have to take care of, self plagiarism. If I write a paper and then while writing a second paper I can copy my content and then put it into the second paper, that is known as self plagiarism, which is also avoided. If you want to copy your same content to the next paper, then you can change the content, paraphrase it, or manipulate it, or you have to change the complete procedure, but whatever you have written in your first paper, that you are not going to do in the next paper, because it is to be considered as plagiarism. Author must remember that crediting previous author for their work is actually required, and it can providing a context of their own research. Journal often use plagiarism checking softwares that assist editors to identify the plagiarism. But and we have plenty of plagiarism tools are available on the paid basis and the unpaid basis. But still, under the UGC has to prepare a proposal for considering plagiarism a legal offense in India also. They are working on it. They have submitted a proposal for that, and slowly or gradually it will be in law also. Then improper author contribution. In what is improper author contribution? And improper author contribution is that, let's say we have six authors. Out of six authors, the main work is done by only first two authors. The next author is just for passing this paper to the other to the other author. That is improper author. This contribution is not acceptable if it comes into law. Then we have fabrications and data fabrication is basically a manipulating the data, the research fraud, and this is referred to the publication that report result or draw conclusion from the data is not generated by the study. This is basically like you have some data, and the data you want to put it, or you have to find out the some kind of result, but the result what you are expecting is not coming. That at that time when we can, some authors can do that, manipulate that data to get the result what exactly they are expecting. That is wrong. We don't have to do that, because this is an offense, and that also is applicable to the images that are modified. It is a relatively simple for experiencing reviewers and editor, and they can easily identify this kind of frauds because statistics, tables, p-values, 95% confidence interval, they that can be easily modified, and that can be easily changeable. So if you're publishing your work, you have to take care of your data set up to for few years up to the publication, because it can be asked by the journal editor, or it can be asked by other authors who are actually working on it at any time of at any point of time, because there are a lot many researchers who are working on the same particular topic. So we have to take care of our results. They cannot be manipulated, they cannot be changed, they are original one. Then we have to improper use of human subjects, that we have to take care of, like ethical approval, yeah, informed consent or data confidentiality has to be maintained. Data confidentiality has to be maintained while considering the ethics of publication. This is actually a table which is focused on the plagiarism ethics. Like we have to take care of approval and consents. We have to take care of data accuracy. We have to take care of plagiarism as well as the self plagiarism. We have to take care of the submission frauds which comes across. Then we have to take care of the ethics of authorships and the conflict of interest. These all points has to be considered as the publication ethics, because approval and consent is basically considered as that we have to take the approval of all the authorities, all the, I mean, if you are acknowledging some content or acknowledging someone's figure, then you have to take at least the I mean the acceptance of that we are using your figure, we are using your table, we are using your data. We have to acknowledge them, and we have to document it properly. Then data accuracy is to be maintained, because we cannot manipulate the data, whether it is a mathematical data or it is a theoretical data. We cannot manipulate that data because it is a big issue while taking care of ethics of publications. Then rest the topics we have already discussed about it. That we have to take care of all these things before going for the publication. Now, these are the points which we have to consider before publication. Then the major part is that how we can structure our manuscript. Before structuring a manuscript, actually structuring means once you have complete your first, you have to complete your experimental work. If you have results, you have input, you have data, you have results, then you can start writing. And writing your paper is in such a way that it can telling a story from beginning to end. And the researchers must know about how we can get the input, how we can get the background, how we can easily make the reader to understand it. For this reason, paper is generally follow a standard structure and allow readers to easily to find out the information what exactly they are looking for. So while writing a research paper, we have to be focused about that. We have to start from the scratch, and we have to make the reader understand whether it is a technical reader or it is not technical reader. So it hardly makes a difference, but we have to understand. We have to make understand the reader that what we are focusing on, what we are doing in this particular work, and at the end, what are the results of our work is. So we have to structure it accordingly. And while structuring, we have to focus on some few things, like we have to focus on the Emerald model. Hope you all know about the Emerald model. And this model is basically nothing much complicated model. They are just focused on the four sections. One is introduction. In this model, they basically focus on four sections. One is introduction, second is method, then result, and then discussion. The only four sections are included in this particular model. This format is often used in the lab reports, or as well as while reporting to the panel, or if we are writing a scientific research in social sciences, in natural sciences, or in sometimes in engineering and computer science also. These are the major four sections. Without these major four sections of this particular model, we cannot complete our research article. And while working on this Emerald model, we also have to consider about the expansion of Emerald model. And what expansion of Emerald model consists of: title, abstract, keywords. We're discussing all these points in the further slides, but this is just the expansion of Emerald model is like we have to consider about the title, abstract, keywords, introduction, method, result, discussion, references, and acknowledgement. We have to take care of all these things. While writing the manuscript or structuring the manuscript. So while writing a manuscript, we have to take care of a right order. Right order is that our work should be consistent and clear. And for consistency and clarity in your manuscript, we have to take care. This is the Emerald model. Like, we have method, result, introduction, and discussion, title, and abstract. While writing a method and result, we have to method and result is only obtained if we have an experimental kind of thing. Like if we are comparing something, yeah, if we have some data set, or if we have some method which is to be followed to finding the result. While writing the introduction and discussion, we have to select some targeted journal, like how they are writing their introduction section, how they are discussing about their sections after the implementation part. And the title and abstract we should write at the end, because if initially we know about the method, if we know about the result, then we can easily write about the introduction, because introduction hardly we have to cover 6 to 7 paragraphs. And in introduction, where we have to put our motivation, we have to put the open challenges, and if we have results, then we can easily discuss and it relate with the motivation section. And then with the method or results part, we can easily discuss about it. But the title and abstract is always written according to the journal, or at the end of while writing a manuscript. While writing a manuscript, what exactly the purpose of manuscript is to be clear to each and every writer. Like, authors have to clear about the purpose of manuscript, how to convey your most important idea through your paper. The core purpose of writing a paper is to go beyond more presentation of the fact and thought. It is to be reach out to the reader to communicate your research effectively, and it helps reader to understand it. So for that, we have to take care of how we are going to explain our work, how we are going to share our work, and how we represent our work while writing, and how we are actually involving the reader into it. So we have to consider while writing a research paper. For important factors for the research paper, we should be always kept in mind. Like, our manuscript should be cohesive, it should be organized, it should be relevant also, and it should be clear. Because if these few factors are not there in our manuscript, then the reader will not able to understand about the manuscript, that what exactly manuscript we are, what we are writing, they are not clear about without these four factors. What exactly the coincidences. It is actually a essential quality of good academic writing. In academic writing, the flow of idea from one sentence to the next, it should be smooth and logical. Without cohesion, the reader will not understand the main point that you are trying to make. It is also hamper readability. Cohesion necessary, usually, because cohesion means relating one sentence to the another sentence. There are different kind of terms also. Cohesion is achieved when the sentences are connected at the sentence level, whereas the cohesion is achieved when the idea are connected. In addition, it is more focused about the grammar and the style of paper. Cohesion is also reflects a clarity of expression. It is created when the correctly vocabulary and a grammar are used. After all, the goal of writing is to benefit for the readers, and without both cohesion and coherence, the reader may not able to identify the idea of the writer. And also we have to take care of while choosing the words, the text, and so that the text is easily understandable by the reader. It depends, because clarity is very much required, and clarity and efficiently writing is a part of cohesion and coherence. Because without coherence, it is not clear about it that what exactly the author is going to write. Then we have to take care of organization and structure. Organization and structure, as we all know about it, that this is the major flow of organization of a manuscript. There should be title, there should be the author details, there should be abstract, results should be there, method should be there. But if we are talking about the survey or systematic review kind of article, then at that time we need not require any result. But if we can show the statistical result, what exactly the strategy the previous research papers are following and what we are going to focus on, that may be helpful. Then we have introduction also, we have discussion also, and we have conclusion also while structuring the manuscript. Then we have relevance. What is there in the relevance while focusing on the manuscript? As we all do research and we all having some information about it, so that information, whatever we are writing in the research article, it should be relevant to our focus domain. Like focus means, like if you are working, like I'm from the computer science department, and if I'm working on machine learning, then I should explain about the learning, I should explain about the deep learning, enhancement of deep learning. In that manuscript, I'm not going to focus on artificial intelligence. I'm focused about the learning styles, learning stages, learning techniques, not about the AI techniques. So that should be relevant while writing in the research paper. And if your study has 10 result, but your paper can only be of 4,000 words, then you might want to narrow down the results, because it that supports your hypothesis, that supports your importance of the result. So we have to take care of it. Be sure that only include the information that given by the reader, and which you actually want to give to the reader only, so that it can make it is understandable and it is relevant to your concept also. Then we have to focus on clarity. Clarity, we all know about it, that we have to clear about the author guidelines, we have to clear about the cohesion, we have to clear about the organization or structure of the work, we have to clear about the relevancy of the work. For each and everything we have to take care of. We have to go for plagiarism check, we have to go for grammar check, we have to go for writing styles. This should be clear before writing of manuscript. Then we have importance of title, because title is the only thing which is there in the database for a long time. I mean, your paper is also there, but once if you are going to search about your topic, initially the come in front of your eyes is that the title. So title of the manuscript should be informative, it should be concise, and it can explain the nature of your work. It should be understandable to the reader of that particular domain researchers, or from the outside of the field researchers. It contains sufficient detail of the purpose of your work. And usually this is actually written everywhere, that the title should not be of 120 characters with spaces. It should not be more than that. It and all nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs in the title must not be written in the first in capital letter, with the first in capital letter. So we have to take care of it while deciding a title of our manuscript. We have to convey our main topic to the whatever manuscript is describing, that we have to convey with the help of topic. We have to be specific. We have to avoid jargons and abbreviation or acronyms while deciding the manuscript title. Then what exactly the title include of? Title is only of 120 characters with space. That is only that much. But on the title page, what exactly we have to mention is like title, the author details, the keywords also, who is the corresponding author, the detail of the corresponding author also is to be mentioned there, and the financial support or the conflict of interest. This depends on publisher to publisher. If we go for Springer, they want these details on the first page. If we go for elsewhere, they need not require that. If we go for IEEE, they want us to fill all these detail at the initial time of submission of the paper. So it depends publisher to publisher, but these details should be there on the first page. So what exactly is the first impression while writing a manuscript? And that first impression is your abstract. An abstract actually summarize. Usually it is in one paragraph and of 300 words, no, or less than also. It is acceptable if it can convey all the major things which we want to convey to the reader. The major aspects of entire paper in a sequence. The overall purpose of the study we have to mention in the abstract in two sentences. What is the research problem of your study? That also we have to mention in the abstract in one or two sentences. Then what is the exact design of the study which we are going to implement it in our manuscript? And at the end, what are the major findings are in the quantity form, not in the quality form, that we have to mention in the abstract. And then we have to summarize the work, the interpretation, and the conclusion in the abstract. So your abstract actually include the relevance of your the importance of your results, the validity of the conclusion, and so that with the help of abstract only, the editors or the reader can judge your writing styles, and they that and if it is readable, it is understandable, then we usually reader go for the complete manuscript. Otherwise, usually they avoid. What we don't have to include while writing a abstract. So, while writing an abstract, we should not contain of lengthy backgrounds or conceptual information or redundant phrases. We cannot we are not I mean we can avoid that. Unnecessary adverbs and adjectives and the repetitive information should be avoided while writing a research paper. The abbreviation should not be there. If you want to write an abbreviation, then first you have to define it, then you can use it. But initially, we should avoid the abbreviation while writing the abstract. Then we have reference of the other literature should also be avoided, because if we are using reference in the abstract, then that is of no use, because we have to we have to give the research problem in the abstract, and if we are referring that, it means other researchers are also focusing on that the same problem, so it doesn't look good. So we avoid the references in the research paper. We used to avoid the jargons also, so that the reader may not be confused. And any sort of images, illustration, figures, tables, and references should be avoided while writing a research paper. These are the things which we have to avoid while writing a abstract. In fact, we have to write only of 300 words abstract. In that abstract, we just more focused. The writer should be focused while defining the abstract. Next section is while writing a manuscript is introduction. Introduction is what question or problem was studied, that we have to explain in the introduction, and we have to explain that introduction in such a nice way, so it can represent each and everything in the introduction, and it should not be more than 8 to 9 paragraphs while writing a introduction. It, because several readers may not understand the significance of your study right away. Therefore, use journal language carefully while designing your introduction, that it can develop a logic also to guide your reader with the main problem or the objective of your study. Because the introduction part should be clearly describe the aim of the research, sufficient references, and the relevance previous publication, along with a brief discussion and the conclusion of the past research should be given in the introduction, so that the reader must be clear about your motivation, what exactly you are going to focus on. A short section explanation, the relevance of the presented research in that context should be included. It should be pointed out when the methodology used in the present study was chosen, and why it will be provided a new insight. Why your manuscript is noble one, that you have to explain in the introduction section. The introduction leads to the reader for the journal subject areas for a particular type of inquiry, or it can establish a scope, context, and the significance of your research. And and that is to be explained in a very summarized way, so that it is clear. The background information should also be there of your research which you're going to focus on. The research problem should also be there, but in a summarized way. And also you can highlight the potential outcome of your study also in the introduction section. So while writing the introduction, we have to take care of beginning up to the end. But still, in the beginning, what exactly we have to focus is we have to provide the background of the information to put your work into the context. What not we have to do, that is, do not write the comprehensive literature review in the introduction. In introduction section, we have to avoid the detailed literature. Do cite the reviews that reader can refer to it, and when they want more information, they can go for it. So while writing the initial introducing about your research work, we have to take care of these few points. Then when we are in the middle of introduction, at that time we have to give the reason of our study, and we also have to explain how you're going to address about the problem which you describe in your research manuscript. And do not state the result of your study. We don't have to state it, we just have to give the idea to the reader that this may be happen, yeah, or we will achieve up to this target, but not state that directly. At the end of introduction, we have to be clearly state the specific aim of the study. These are actually a story of last 2 to 3 paragraphs that we have to clearly state them, state the method you will use to carry out about your aim, and are the citation balanced, current and relate and the relevance. We have to take care of it. What we don't have do's and don'ts of take care of while writing the introduction is we have to describe for undertaking the study. We have to describe it clearly. Explain how the research makes an important contribution to the field in the advanced knowledge. We have to state some research questions clearly in the introduction section. Then we also have to explain about the theoretical framework of that study is based upon. We also have to provide the background of the problem or the issues of the research aim to understand or resolve or cite the studies to support your argument. We have to summarize the current state of knowledge of the topic. We have to cite the studies also, and don't review all the studies. They have ever been published on the topic. So we have to be very focused about it, because introduction is actually increase the interest in your manuscript. If the introduction is not properly written, then usually the reader may not be go to the next sections. Then, according to the Amrold model, they have to focus on the material and the methods. How we are going to focus on the material and the methods of our manuscript, and it this section is most specific of your study. The primary criteria for well conducting a research in this, it is must it must be clear, and we have to mention about the material we are using. We have to focus about the method we are going to use in this section. And it means that the author and the other researchers should be able to reduce the result in the following method we have to take care of. We have to define clearly about the subheadings. We have to describe the method of in past tense, not in the present tense. New method must be described in a sufficient detail for another researchers to reduce the experiments. Then establish a method can be referenced and describe statistical test, so that the methods and the materials are to be very clear. We have to provide the full details of all the methods, all the techniques, or all the hardware or software descriptions, or the instruments which we are going to use while working on the focused problem. Include the diagrams and of the experimental setup. We also describe the questionnaire, survey, and other collective data in this section. We also provide the studies which are actually related to our work, and with having a reliability of the analysis method. We also describe the lab settings or the environment or the experimental views about the work which we are mentioning in our manuscript. We have to explain about the analysis method which we have, which other have chosen and why you have chosen it. So we have to be clear about why the work is to be conducted and how it is to be processed. And we don't have to exclude the important detail of simply to we don't have to increase the length of the description. Be point to point so that it must be clear about the reader that what procedure they are following to implementing your work. Then we have to focus for result also. And the result section is actually include all the details about your data, and we also have to highlight the significance finding in the text, because we have to we have to relate our theory with the results. So in this section readers should be able to understand your results without spending too much of time. For that, what we have to take care of it, we have to assemble your findings in a logical order and use the subheadings to clearly define all the details of your results. Then use past tense to describe the result, but refer to the figure and table in the present tenses. Rest is to be in the past tense, but while referring the figures and table, we should be take care of the present tense. Present the fact that do not discuss your result. Only present the facts, because discussion is not no more important. Discussion is discussion. We have in another section. Just present the facts only. Do not duplicate the data among the figures and tables and text, because it create a duplicacy. And sometimes because we are human and we make a some small mistake, like if we are representing 10 and we are writing 100, it create unnecessary confusion to the reader. So do not duplicate the data. Include the result of statistical analysis in text. We have to take care of while representing the test section. Use the table and figures effectively to present the result in a manner that they can easy to understand at a glance. Describe the actual data rather than provide a generalized data. State the main findings of the text, not the other things. Highlight any unexpected and surprising results in the text. And also explain what the result are saying rather than simply stating the statistical data. You should explain the result, what exactly it means is. For example, if I want to specify some statistical data, then I should write X was found to substitute increase with Y, and rather than we have to write it like X and Y have a positive correlation of 0.73. So this looks quite technical, not in a generic way. So if you are illustrating the result in your study or in figure or in table, do not include the detailed description of the result in the text. We should be focused about what exactly the quantitative result, not the quality result. Then we have displaying the items and the figures. While displaying the items and the figures, we have to take care of figures and tables are very effective. How we make them effective, with the color or with the presenting way. Keep it simple. Use separate panel for if it is necessary. Avoid the duplication with the text. Label all the part of the figure, because if labeling is not there, then figure is not clear. The reader cannot understand what is this graph is going to show, what this axis is going to show. So include the trend lines and scale bars and statistical significance, and also able to stand alone. Like if we have a table, this kind of table we have, then we have a clear caption option. We have to give the detail of the table, what exactly the table is going to represent. We have to label the table. This labeling is quite long, but still, because it is they are showing something mathematical result, but we should be clear about the labeling part. Then the data is divided into the category for the according clearly they should be mentioned, like we have to divide in properly in a row wise or section wise. Then we have to define all the abbreviation also at the end of the table. The clear table can make the understand reader what exactly in this table is mentioned there. They don't have to read the text. They can easily understand the data according to this table. They can easily understand what is we are going to represent in our table. Then while displaying the figure, we have to take care of few things, like if we have a figure, then the multiple panels set of related data show in the single figure. and we have to label them, like x's and y axis should be clear. They have a standalone things, like they should be clear. Axis is clearly labeled, and if data is complicated, then it should be split into a smaller other components. It should not be in we should not have fill all the graphs and all everything into a single figure. We can I mean we can create a different figures for different observation. In the discussion section, we have to take care of few things. A good discussion section actually extends the specific result to their broader implications, which can then be tied with a journal background given the introduction, and to maximize the impact of the overall paper. Discussion is actually very important because it can gives you the broader view of your result, your observation or your final decision. So between your discussion section and the introduction, we have to take care of few things. Like the most difficult section is most of the author is to write is the decision section. We should be humble while writing the decision section. We do not overstate the importance of the result. We have to be clear about the what we proved. We have to be clear about the findings. We have to be clear about what we are suggesting. That's the only thing we have to mention while writing the discussion section, because if it is clear that what we have proved, what we have to show, and what we have to suggest, then the discussion is bit clear about the reader. Otherwise it creates a confusion for the readers. In the beginning of the discussion, we have to take care of answering all the research questions which we include in the introduction section. Always provide the major or main results first, then give your conclusion based on the results, and that include in the discussion. That conclusion is only of one or two sentences, not in the detailed kind of thing. So while writing the beginning of discussion, we have to relate it with the introduction. While writing the discussion, initially we start the discussion, then we in the middle of the discussion, what we have to take care of is we have to interpret the result, and that result one paragraph per idea. What is your observation according to the results? We have to state there itself in the discussion section. As there are results from any previous studies relevant for your work, then that also we have to mention in the discussion section. Then compare your results with the other researchers' work. It is same, it is different, or how it is different, and what is the reason that these are the reasons, these are the possible reasons we can give to the future researchers. That also we can discuss in the discussion section. Then we have to briefly describe the limitation of our work. If you don't want, the reviewer will, reviewer, because reviewer is going to give you the they can ask the limitations, but or they can give you these other limitations, but before the reviewer will suggest you the limitations, you just, not in the negative way, in the positive way, you can give your limitations also. At the end of the discussion, we have to take care of the conclusion part, not in detail, but we have to conclude it somewhere, like the results, like observation, and somewhat discussion also. Then begin, and also we have to provide a summary of our work and conclude that summary. Mention all the possible application, implication of your work. If it is appropriate your domain, then only. And then also suggest some future work also in the discussion part. But some few points we have to take care of it while writing the discussion and discussion section, because start if we are starting, then whatever we introduce in our introduction section, whatever hypothesis we supported at the introduction section, we have to clear about that hypothesis into the discussion section. We have to interpret the result. What do the result implies of, and what are the exact findings, how these findings are different from previous findings, how these results are better than the previous result. Explain about all the studies, add-ons, and previous knowledge in the discussion section. And remember to mention that any possible alternative of explanation for the results. And also address the limitation, because if you are not addressing the limitation, then after a small span of time, the reviewer can gives you the limitation of your work. So it's better to claim your limitation, and only those limitations which you can answer them while reviewer is asking. So don't simply repeat the results again and again, but draw some conclusion for that. And sometimes, usually, if the discussion part is strong, we usually avoid the conclusion section. But because some publishers want the conclusion section, so we have to consider some things while writing the conclusion section. And in the conclusion section, we actually context of the formulated problem, and so that the reader must be clear about it, that what exactly we perform in our work, in our results, and the major outcome of your research, so that the reader should able to understand how and why you reach to your conclusion. The conclusion is intended to help the reader to understand why a research should be matter to them. After they have finished the reading of the paper, a conclusion is not merely a summary of the main topic covered and restatement of such research of your research problem, but a actually it is in a key points, it in a systematic way, so that you can explain it about how we can reach to our conclusion. If applicable, then you can give some idea about the future scope also, because conclusion and future scope both are not related, but after conclusion we can give some future scope also in the next paragraph for the readers. So while writing about the conclusion, we have to present the last word on the issue and raised of your paper. Just to introduce that for what is the first impression of your reader. Then we can conclude our work, how we follow the work properly. We can highlight the key points only while writing in this section. Then we have to summarize also, summarize your thoughts and convey the large significance of your study. We have to summarize it accordingly, because we have to focus on our introduction also, we have to focus on method also, and the discussion also. Still, we have to write it in a not the same text we have to copy it from the introduction or from the method. We have to write it accordingly, so that the reader come to know about the easy, I mean, the process of our work, which leads to the conclusion. Then also identify the gap of the literature, which you identified at the time of literature. Mm, you can mention in the conclusion section. Then demonstrating the importance of the idea, and while demonstrating the importance of the idea is to elaborating the impact and the significance of your finding, you have to mention that in the conclusion section. Then introducing the possibility of the new expansion, like future scope or the new research problem which come after your findings. So we have to write all the details about the research problem based on the result of your study in the conclusion section, but in a short form. Short form means in a one or two paragraph, not more than that. What while focusing on the conclusion section, we have to explain what you learn about from your study. Then we have to conclude it directly related to your research questions which you state in the study at the time of introduction. Then you have to give the borderline implication of the research, and also you have to suggest some advances like future scope of your work, but do not overgeneralize the result. Do not state that your findings are the best findings. Do not summarize the result in the conclusion section. That doesn't look good for summarizing only the result section. So while writing a reference after conclusion, it is the next section is references section. And references section, it depends on the publisher to publisher, because Springer required different kind of referencing style. IEEE required APA kind referencing style, and each and every publisher have their different reference. The thing we have to take care is that all the references should be in symmetry. They should be in a same format. They should not be in a different kind of format. Like first two references are in APA format, rest two are in different format. No, we have to we have to make a symmetry while writing the references. And if the author, if let's say you have 200 references and you're not able to focus on each and every references, then go for the reference management softwares. We have lot many free reference management softwares in the research market. Like we have Mendeley, we have EndNote. They can reference your each and every reference accordingly in a same format. Then some hints and some tips are actually I want to give you while writing or while communicating or while working on the research paper is cover letter. The major thing is cover letter is to be very crystal and clear. While working on the cover letter, you should mention clearly whatever you mention in your abstract, whatever you mention in your conclusion. The summary of abstract and conclusion should be mentioned in your cover letter, and it should not be like 1 or 2 page description you are writing about your manuscript. No, cover letter should be short and prescribed, and the detail about the communication corresponding author. Then we have to be clear about the peer reviews, like what other reviewers, how many other researchers are working on your in your domain. You should be aware about it. Then we have to respond the reviewer comments properly, because if you are not responding the reviewer comments properly, then your paper, if it is in minor revision, it hardly makes a difference. If you did not respond the comment of the reviewer, it goes on the rejection side. So while writing a cover letter, we have to take care of some general rules, like we have to address editor personally. We have to write the title and the publication type of our paper. Then we have to mention few background, relation, and the result of our work. Sorry. And we have to take care of why your finding is important, who is the corresponding author, and who are the reviewers you recommended for your research work to be reviewed by so and so reviewer. That must have been written in your cover letter. These are the general rule, and these are basically required while writing a cover letter. Then we must have include some statement like original and unpublished. These words should be there, because then only the editor have a confidence on you that this work is original and this is not communicated somewhere else. It is not submitted to any other journal. Author should agree on the manuscript and the journal policies and rules. There should be no conflict of interest. That should be mentioned in the cover letter also. And there, if there is a source of funding is there, then you have to mention in the cover letter. Otherwise, it hardly makes a difference. If there is no, then you don't have to mention about it. Then authorship contribution is not mandatory, but still we have to mention about the contribution also. Then finding the reviewer is a major problem, because as far as editor, because I'm working in the editor side also. So while working on the editor side, we face lot many problems. Like if your domain is in computer science and you're working in some deep learning field, then it is a big task for a editor to find the reviewer. So while writing a cover letter, you can give few reviews, but it does not mandate that you'll get all the reviews of your choice. That is not possible all the time. So from your readings and from your references only, the reviewer can identify the reviewers of your work. It can also extract in the network also, like we have lot many networks, social networking sites, like LinkedIn and other scientific networking sites. So we can easily identify that who all other authors are working in the same domain. Then aim for younger and the mid-level researchers is a big task for finding the reviewers. And editor have at the end, the editor have to take the decision that which reviewer is suitable for your manuscript. So this is a big task. So before reviewer can work for that, author can work for it, and they can add those references only. They can add those reviewers, or they can give provide the possible reviews of their field to help the editor. Then we also focus on the revisions. If we got the revision on our manuscript, then how we can work on. We have to take care of the we have to take care professionally. Like we have to respond each and every comment. Whether we don't have to write thanks and all. We just have to respond them technically, so that once whatever the comment is, then the next response. Refer to the line and the page number. We have to mention whatever changes we have made in our manuscript that refers it. Use the different color of or the font. Like if the reviewer comment is in black color, then you can write in a blue color. Don't use the red color, because red color is a kind of color which actually gives you danger. So avoid red color. You can use the other colors to respond yourself. And whatever responses you have made in your manuscript, that you must have highlighted in the text. Then only the revision, the reviewer will feel like that author can focus on each and every uh, point which I mentioned in the revision. Then language, which we have to take care of it while minimizing the error, because language is also a big issue while writing a research paper. And that you can do with the help of Google Scholar to check your word usage. Then you can also go for like university, this Purdue University online writing lab. This is free of cost. You can use that also. We can, or we can we have actually number of tools are available in the market which can go for the language checking, but we cannot trust them completely. We have to check for the consistency also, not to replacing the each and every word like that. We have to take care of word counts also, spell check also, so that uh, we can easily get a good publication after writing a manuscript. It actually help your reader to understand. This is written by Albert Einstein that if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well. So we have to take care of it while writing a research paper, and that write a research paper so that it can be impressive. It looks impressive and it is understandable. So that's it from my side. Thank you. So, any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. We are very happy to you explaining about how to write a paper and step by step and process.
Thank you so much.
Now,
Hopefully, that will be good. I mean, that will be easy, understandable to all, so that I mean, we'll get a good publication results.
yes, yes, yes. And anybody want to ask questions,
Yeah,
you may
anyone,
ask.
please. So why don't you ask?
And dear participants, if anybody want to publish a paper or either it may be a chapter, you can contact madam.
Yeah,
She will
sure.
help you in any time. I will forward madam mail ID also.
So in fact, I'm writing my mail ID in a chat box if anybody want to get it done, because right now my 5 books are going on. If anybody is interested for publishing their chapters, then that will be good. They are associated with the Springer as well as with the Wiley and CRC Press, and my 4 issues are also going on. Two of them are good indexed, and 2 hour Scopus index. So if anyone is interested for the publication and all, then they may contact me. My email ID is mentioned in the chat box. Please have it. So you can mail me personally. If I can do, I can help you out. That is not a problem. And you can take Prasad's help also, because he is also very helpful while for publications. And Prasad, I'll
Thank you.
share all my call for issues and call for paper with you. You can share with the participants.
Sure, sure,
Ha.
sure.
So thank
Anybody
you so
want
much.
to ask any questions regarding about paper publishing?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. No one is asking any question. I think so. Everyone is
Satisfied with
fine.
the session.
Then, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. Right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.